I want to talk about you getting back to WWE because we talked about the 0-1 tour. We talked about the big Ring of Honor match. You got a couple of them. How did you get back in touch? Because in the last interview, we discussed how, you lost the developmental deal, unfortunately, because the place closed down and you had all the hires, everything like that. Then you went to HWA and then the deal was pulled there. You went to UPW. How did you end up getting back?
So ultimately, when I was working with Ring of Honor, I was set to move in with Kathy Carino. I was gonna go. She had a room for rent in Philadelphia, and uh, and so I don't know what I was gonna do. I had nowhere to go. HWA had shut down. Um, so heck, I'm gonna go to Philly. And so in the meantime, as my room was getting done up, I was back home in Washington State, Lacey, Washington, at my mom's house, and I got reached out to by the WWE, and they asked if I would be uh, available to come into Vegas, and I forget where the other town was, to do the dark matches. And I said, "Yeah, of course." And man, I was so stupid and so young. So the first day, we're on the West Coast, or at least Pacific time, and I showed up to work an hour early. Turns out I showed up to work 2 hours late because
Oh
I didn't,
boy.
you know what I mean? But it didn't
Yep,
matter
time's
because
up.
nobody needed, right?
Yeah.
But still terrible. And but nobody needed me. I wasn't late for anything except for my own interview.
Mhm.
Um, but then the next day, at the SmackDown taping, I had a match with Shannon Moore, a tryout match. And what I remember is doing Japan, 1, 2, and they kick out so last second. Well, I did one of those, and I remember Mr. Briscoe and Mr. Ross kind of getting on me about that. But then afterwards, they offered me a contract, and they just said, "We're not going to fly you out of Washington, but if you're willing to move, we'd like to offer you a contract." And I said, "How about Tampa? Because that's where pro wrestlers live." And they said, "Then you got a contract." And that was it.
Wow.
I had my first television contract, thanks to Shannon Moore and that opportunity, and Mr. Briscoe and Mr. Ross. Yeah.
And after all the frustrations of having it ripped away from you before, that had to be a really fulfilling feeling, right?
It was nice. Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah, it was great. That's where I wanted to be.